Hey everyone. So in this video, I'm going to share my two favorite insights when it comes to reducing the amount of arguments I have within my environment, making all my relationships so much better, whether that be with my family, with my wife, with my friends, even with my clients. And if you stay until the end, I'll also throw in one of my favorite questions from Brené Brown that is, really, really a powerful one. But first, if you think of a tree, for a tree to grow, it needs both water, it needs the sun, but it also needs the wind. And if a tree gets too little wind, it will never really grow, it will never really develop strong roots. But if a tree gets too much wind, it might break. And so the same goes for you, the same goes for me when it comes to our environment. If our environment is constantly changing, so if we keep skipping from friendship to friendship or from place to place, and we're never really interacting with our environment and allowing and growing within our environment, then we'll never really get to develop strong roots. The same if you are in an environment that's toxic, where the people are pulling you down, are not helping or not helping you grow, that can also break you. But the key here for you to grow within your environment is learning to interact with it better. Or how do you interact with your environment? Because your environment can be there to support you, it can be there to challenge you, but the way that it actually challenges, helps you grow instead of breaking you, is how you learn to interact with that. And so interact with it. And so the relationships, or your relationships, are a huge part of your environment, and how you interact with your relationships can play a massive role in your ability to grow and your ability to feel fulfilled and be a happy person. And so let's just dive straight into the strategies. And so the first strategy I want to share with you, or the first insight, I want to share with you, is the 4 levels of communication. So whenever you have a conversation with anyone, or whenever you're talking to anyone, it will always be filtered through these 4 levels. So the first level is what you want to say. So that's the thing that you want to say. Then there's what you actually say. Then there's what the other person hears. And then there's how the other person interprets what you hear. So that's 4 levels of the telephone game, where things can get completely misinterpreted, where things can get completely lost in translation. And so understanding this, it really gave me a lot of perspective, because it allowed me to realize that what I'm saying is not always necessarily what the other person is hearing, right? And so we'll get back to this, but I want to start by sharing the second insight, which is an insight that I got from the book Man's Search for Meaning by Viktor Frankl, who's a Holocaust survivor. And one of the things that he says is that between any stimuli and a response, there is a space. And in that space lies our power to choose our response. And so he talks about the difference between reacting versus responding. So if you react, you don't utilize that space that allows you to respond. So let's say someone insults you, you can either react and get annoyed at them, or you can recognize that there's a space where you get to choose your response, right? And so when it comes to communication, these two concepts are insane, because they allow you to first of all, not react to what's going on, but also never to take for granted what you think the other person has understood, or what the other person is saying, because it's always filtered through the levels. So the way you use this is, and part of what I believe the message of Viktor Frankl's quote is, the main message, that we actually have way more ownership than we think of our responses. We have way more ownership when it comes to how we respond to our external situations. So, for example, if you get triggered or you get offended by something that your family member says, well, bring it through these two insights. So first of all, ask yourself, okay, is it possible that, what I said to them got fully misinterpreted? And is it possible that what they said to me is not at all what the other person is trying to say, or what I heard them say, or how I interpreted what they say was not at all what they tried to say? And so the way you do this is you take ownership of like your reaction of the conversation in general. So you essentially take ownership for how everything is being understood, right? And so the way you do that is you ask questions. So for example, one question might be, okay, just out of curiosity, what did you hear me say right now? And when you allow them to reflect back what they hear, if it's different to what you actually said, then you have an opportunity to change that, to modify that. And the same comes for when someone says something to you, and this is the powerful Brene Brown quote, and that is, just so you know, the story I'm telling myself right now is this. And in both those situations, what it does is that you get to take ownership. You're not putting the blame, you're not blaming someone for how they made you feel or for what they said. You're taking ownership by saying, hey, this is how I filtered it through my own interpretations. This is how I'm interpreting what you say. And what that does is that it gives them the opportunity to correct and say, actually, no, this is what I want. And then you enter into a dialogue, and that dialogue allows for the telephone game to dissipate, or the four levels to dissipate, because you actually get to the truth of what people are trying to say. So, quick recap. Well, first of all, your environment plays a massive role in your ability to grow. And part of your environment is the people that you surround yourself with. And so your ability to grow and learn is also a directly linked to how you are able to interact, or how you use these interactions to learn and to grow as a person. Then when you're having these interactions that are like the wind that are making you grow, you want to consider these two insights. So one, that there are four levels of communication. There's what you want to say, what you say, what the other person hears, and how the other person interprets what they hear. And two, you between whatever someone says to you and your reaction, there's always a space. And in that space lies your power to take ownership, lies your power to respond instead of reacting. And when you can, use these two concepts and combine them with taking ownership by asking questions like, what did you hear me say? Or this is the story I'm telling myself. Well, you ensure that what you're actually communicating to each other is actually what both of you are trying to say. And this will drastically reduce the amount of arguments you have, but it will also allow you to grow and become a much calmer and much better, not better person, but a much more fulfilled person, because you improve the relationships around you, your environment improves, it becomes supportive, and you grow. But, as always, this takes practice, and it's not something that will be easy and come overnight. Just like a wind, it's not because a tree gets one gust of wind that it's suddenly a strong, stable tree. But if you continue to practice this, especially as we go into the holiday season soon, and you're probably spending time with friends, if you're lucky, you're spending time with family, become aware, or bring these two strategies to your awareness, or these two insights to your awareness, and watch how your relationships and your environment will transform. But anyways, wishing you all an amazing day. I really hope you found this useful. I'll drop a link to my newsletter and to the self-confidence test. You can also please subscribe to this channel if you want to receive more videos like this. But anyways, wishing you all a great day, and as always, much love.